What does Zyn really give you? Not just smoke-free nicotine satisfaction, but also real freedom to do more of what you love, when and where you want to do it. Why bring Zyn along for the ride? Because America's #1 nicotine pouch opens up all the possibilities of right now. With Zyn, you don't just find freedom, you keep finding it. Find your Zyn. Learn more at Zyn.com. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Now's a good time to remember where tequila's story truly began. In 1795, Cuervo invented tequila.
Cuervo.
What are you doing here?
Cuervo. Anytime someone says Cuervo, I show up.
Well, I do know that to be true, but even during ad reads, like...
Cuervo.
I think you could lay out, especially for one of our great partners.
Sweet, delicious Cuervo.
Since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. The same family, the same land, the same passion.
Cuervo.
So, enjoy the tequila that started it all. Cuervo.
Cuervo.
The tequila that invented tequila. Proximo. Cuervo.com. Please drink responsibly.
Cuervo.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings,
Why are you listening to this show?
the podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
This episode is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
I just realized something in the frenzy of what was the first hour of our show and what was fueled by, I'm going to say, 20 years of New York hatred. I haven't seen this group of people quite this jolly in quite a while. Because some of these stats are so stupid, Stugotz. The Pacers had 23 points in the final 3 minutes and 14 seconds of regulation.
Jolly fans of teams no longer playing.
That's correct.
Yep.
That's correct. You really shouldn't be smug today.
I feel good. I'm still alive.
I know. You say you feel good, but we haven't gotten a real emotion out of you in an hour. You've been all of a sudden you care about the Edmonton Oilers.
It was a great game. It was a great game. Overshadowed for obvious reasons.
So
that was great.
I don't want to be prisoner of the moment with the jolly, but I want to ask you if we're talking about biggest choke ever, and we're talking about the Pacers had 23 points in the final 3 minutes and 14 seconds of regulation. That's the most in the final 3 minutes and 14 seconds of regulation of a playoff game in the play-by-play era. So Carson Breber said ESPN's win probabilities here. And I mean, I want you to find out whether you've got it wrong or you're coming after all of ESPN analytics incorrectly. Because some people are now calling the Pacers the greatest comeback playoff team of all time because of what I'm about to read to you. They had a 99% probability, 99.7% probability of losing versus New York in Game 1, a 95.9% probability of losing versus Cleveland in Game 2, and a 97.9% probability of losing in Game 5 versus Milwaukee. So you're talking about a team for our times, right? I mean, like
This shit is so stupid. It's all made up.
Yeah,
99.8%. Now it's 99.3.
It's just Howie Schwab in the back saying that looks like a 99.7.
What are we doing with that?
But a similar thing to what you're saying is since 1997-98, teams are 4 and 1,649 when down by 7+ points with less than a minute to go in the fourth quarter and overtime in the playoffs.
Too many numbers.
Hold on. The Pacers, this playoffs, account for 3 of those 4 wins.
So this is where me and Jeremy ruin everything with our numbers because the group wants to just be jolly and hate and point out, hey, Brunson also had an air ball at the end. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Tired legs.
Hold on. Let me ask this question.
He was resting on the bench.
ESPN Analytics, get me this number. Is that the most number of air balls we've ever seen in a playoff game? Everybody was shooting air balls.
Yeah, Indiana
was.
was.
The Pacers were shooting air balls. The Knicks were shooting air balls. Chalamet threw an air ball when he tried to tee up Halliburton there. Tee him up. Air ball.
Might be a record for a fourth quarter.
Right.
Air balls.
There's so many air balls.
Everyone but Neesmith. I mean,
That dude was right on target.
nothing but net.
Pew!
I mean, can you take me through when we're talking about how people rise to big moments and if indeed Halliburton has more than a mindset, has a skill set that will kill you late? Give me the person that you would say would have the basketball instincts for all of the following to happen when you talk about what a point guard needs to be. Gets the ball at 7.2 seconds left, has to go the length of the court has been in this situation. The matchup is Mitchell Robinson. You heard him wired up saying that guy crazy to go up against. Who has the mindset in those moments where you don't panic and you got to do something surgically concise to want to go floater, have floater lined up, Bridges hits the ball, so that's short-circuiting whatever you're thinking, and you immediately think, I'm going backwards now, see if I could kill him with a three. Take me through the non-thinking that has to happen in that moment, because you're surrounded by people who are fearing you, you're a killer, and you're not scared of what this moment brings.
So let me start by saying, I think it was last year, might have been 2 years ago, I gave Tyrese Halliburton the nickname The Last Hope, because the point guard position, as we grew up knowing it, is all but dead. It's an ancient religion that nobody practices anymore. And here comes Tyrese Halliburton, and he's a pure point guard, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get it twisted by the heroics and the big shots. He plays the game like the point guard position was originally thought of, which is someone who sets the table for everyone else. He did it last night. He's been doing it all year. And, like, it's really cool to see that get championed, you know, after we've coming off an era where that position has been mostly a scorer. Now, to talk about that particular situation in play, there's a couple of guys I would think of. Steph Curry would be number one on that list of who would do something like that, retreat back to three-point line like that. It would be Steph Curry for sure. I think Damian Lillard probably would have pulled from deep. Before, you know, not that he can't get to the rim, but in that situation, he's got the confidence and the skill set to say, I'm going to just take it from right here. I think De'Aaron Fox might have tried. I don't know if he would have been successful. Ja Morant probably would not have retreated because he's not as strong a three-point shooter. So it's not as rare, Dan. I thought it was more interesting that the Pacers, their after timeout play was, even though we're advancing the ball into the front court, we're running almost like an arena football league kind of style set where everyone's in the backcourt, and now we're running up. And obviously they've got 5 guys out there who could shoot the three, including Miles Turner, so that adds a complication. I think it's like a combination of Rick Carlisle, great play calling, and Tyrese Halliburton, great recognition of what's happening on the floor.
Can we ease up on Halliburton? Because he doesn't have that opportunity unless Neesmith carries them back into the game.
No, we can't.
It wasn't Halliburton that got him back into the game.
No.
It was an ancillary player who got them back into the game.
What is he doing?
Like, can we ease up on And by the way, he didn't step back far enough.
Stop.
It would have been the most embarrassing moment in NBA history had they lost that game.
Shit take.
I love Stugotz because we are one segment removed from him saying he's better than Damian Lillard.
What are you doing? Can we ease up on Halliburton?
Yeah.
Of all the days. No, we cannot.
Playing both sides.
Yeah.
How's this for numbers? Because I know that people don't
numbers?
like numbers. How about this one, though? How about just this one?
All the numbers seem to be 99.8.
Yes.
Okay, the odds of winning all 3 of those games that I gave you those win probabilities on are 1 in 387,147. You don't care? You don't want
Millions.
A lot of
No,
numbers, though. So many numbers.
It's so many numbers.
Jeremy said like 15,000 numbers. in that tweet.
Gagillion.
I think it's more than like 1 in 290,000.
Thank you, Howie Schwab.
I like Mike's theory that all of these numbers from ESPN Analytics
It's just a guy named Elias.
is sitting in the back.
Yeah.
Hispanic guy, Dan. Elias.
Eating Doritos.
That's my dad's That's how I read it.
Everybody thought it was this big, like, firm. No, it's just a dude named Elias.
Feels about 98.5, 98.6.
Oh, I remember when the Brewers a comeback. Let's put that up there.
I'd like to continue the beef between Amin and Elias, the Elias Sports Bureau. I remember I used to use them in about 1997. They were so progressive. You'd pick up a phone and you'd call somebody, and they would have the original computer there in
They would
front
call
of
you
it.
back.
What do you
They'd have to
mean?
get
You
back
would
to
call?
Yes, you'd call.
They'd have to call you back.
We did that like when we were on ESPN. Dan would ask one of those crazy questions that it was impossible to find an answer to, and I would just dial up a landline. Hello, Elias?
So somebody would be there on the other side and
Yes.
be like, hey, I need to know
Yes.
when Halliburton
Research.
shoots for 3, but with 3 seconds left, what's his percentage if he does this, X, Y, and Z? And then go, all right, I'll call you back.
And then it would take 48 minutes for them to get back to you, and then I just learned code on like Basketball Reference, and I was good.
That's the most important part, Tony, is that they would call you back, but always after you needed it. Like, I need
I'm
this
live on the
show.
air.
I'm on deadline.
They would always call you back afterwards, like, never mind.
Next, say, have that answer for you. Thanks.
Buddy, I got it.
I like Tony's way better, though, that you're calling and somebody's like at a
Elia! Shuffles over. Dime. We need Halliburton's three-pointers. And he goes, he's thinking, 99%.
Noises in the background.
Yeah. The thing about this, though, that I ask you, Stugotz, because I see that now Chris Cody, a descendant of his father, you, Tony, you're doing this thing now where you're saying, I don't want numbers. I don't ruin the game with math, and everyone's doing it, and it is a ruiner. Like, sports are better enjoyed the way that you're doing it, jolly and ignorant.
I just don't, like, last night what had happened is rare. That's good.
Right. That's it. It's enough.
Like, that
Never
covers
seen it before. Right.
It's just like 1 in 782,000 chances of that happening. It's just like, I get it. Shocking.
It doesn't happen often. We got it.
Well, you guys said biggest choke ever. So if
It's the third biggest choke ever, statistically.
No one likes you at a party, man. Get out.
I like this character.
You're not getting invited back to the party, pal. You brought chips. Leave.
You brought Jeremy in that vest. What is he doing?
Yeah.
Doug Funny over
Oh,
there.
I was talking to the smart guy.
Smart guy.
Mike walked in today and earnestly said to Jeremy, "Are you doing a grid of death punishment? Like, what's going on here?"
because he went vest in what as summer approaches in
Got
Miami.
his balls upside down.
Yeah.
Sweater vest over a white tee.
What's up, 1997 Gap commercial?
Hey, man, the late 90s are back.
Jumping, driving.
You really gotta jump time, and you really gotta jump time, and you will to see.
I think you guys have it right. I think the better way to experience all of that is just let the hate fill your heart and just be happy about it. And don't tell me how rare it is precisely to the decimal point. Just let me
got it.
Let me just shake my hips and laugh at New York.
Is there a better hate watch?
No.
Like, what?
There will never be a better hate watch.
What's a hypothetical hate watch for us down here?
Numbers get in the way. Like if I told you the Panthers, the way that they iced Game 7 last year against the Oilers, it actually wasn't that long. Historically speaking, it was like the 27th longest way to freeze a puck. No, that took forever. They were there. They were in that corner for 17 minutes.
Mikola.
Does anyone feel more relieved today than Karl Anthony Towns? Because he missed the free throw too, but no one's talking about it. They're just talking about OG Anunoby.
You got him feeling relieved this morning. I don't think anybody wearing that
one's
uniform
relieved.
is like, wow,
What a good morning.
easy day for me.
I think he looked at his stats and he was like, I did a good job.
A little bit. He's like, because people going to look back and say, well, he had 35 or whatever it was, or 35 and 10.
I think the person that's most relieved is honestly Halliburton.
Probably, yeah.
Because
that would have been
they
embarrassing.
were down 4 in overtime.
Right.
And it looked like he was going to be a punchline for all time.
What about John Halliburton? Because he was dancing and doing a choke sign in the club.
Watching hockey.
What if they had lost? That's what he's doing the choke sign for, right? For the Oilers. What if they had lost that game?
That would become a meme forever.
Yes.
Like when someone thinks they have a result in the bag, they would just put Halliburton doing that. It wouldn't be the Knicks choking. It would be him literally choking.
Funny thing is, they have ESPN on behind him. That's what channel the hockey game was on last night. I think he is talking about them.
I mean, do you think the series is over? Like, did the Pacers win the series last night? Because I think the Knicks are going to come back and win this series.
Pacers in one. No, I don't know. Yeah, it's like we always say.
No, but a lot of people are assuming Pacers. Hey, like you can't lose that game at home. It's game 1. You have home court. That the Pacers won the series last night.
I think before the game last night, it was already a coin toss for me. I think these are two good teams that have guys that are transcendent and have type of defensive players that you need in order to win these type of series. They lost game 1, the Knicks did. I don't think that ends their season. They can come back, and all they got to do is win 1 in Indiana. It's the same thing I told Dan when the Thunder lost game 1 to the Nuggets, and Dan was like, oh, my God. And I said, Dan, all they got to do is win 1 in Denver, and that's it. Like, we're back to square one.
Hopes for this series were sky high entering it because it had all the makings. You have two teams. Remember how the Pacers choked away last year's Eastern Conference Finals? They were losing games the way that the Knicks lost last night. It was insane the way that Rick Carlisle found ways to lose against Boston last year. You have two teams that are really good at coming back, have displayed that this postseason. You also have two teams, to be quite frank, they're not that good. From what we've seen out of championship-level teams that make it to the NBA Finals is a very new NBA. So both these teams got to kind of learn how to win on the fly. So I think it's going to be a long series, and it's probably going to get crazier.
If you take the name off the Indiana Pacers and you look at the stats that they've done since January, like you said, Dan, that's a team that you could say that team wins the title very easily. I
don't think anybody's beating OKC, but I would like to see it. I'd also like to point out that some people are saying that Jeremy looks like an inner city substitute teacher who's in over his head.
Yeah.
Nick Freeman?
It's accurate. Man, when I left the house this morning, I really thought I looked great. I really did. I felt really confident.
This is from Ramona Shelburne after saying multiple times that.
Oh man, I thought she was going to roast Jeremy.
This is from Ramona Shelburne.
Like a personal text.
Jeremy looks like he's on the back nine.
The biggest disappointment of my life. I was so excited.
Look, guys, I'm invested in my fashion.
She texted you information? I mean,
After saying multiple times she's talking to Rick Carlisle, and Rick Carlisle has been very careful to say of the Knicks fan base that Halliburton's choke gesture wasn't a big deal because he says he doesn't want to rile up the Knicks fan base. And so now he's shrugging and saying Tyrese has earned the right to do whatever he wants. That starch stiff Rick Carlisle saying that.
I mean, he did. I watched his press conference. Every time they asked somebody, like, look, guys, I'm not even getting into the historical element of that. Like, this fan base is pretty engaged as it is, and we have nothing but the utmost respect, and da-da-da. And then later on, someone asked him, like, how did you feel about Tyrese doing the choke symbol? And he's like, oh, Tyrese earned the right to do whatever he wants. And we're like, oh, it's a little contradictory there.
If he wins the title, we got to have a conversation about old Rick Carlisle.
Oh, he's back.
yeah.
He was. Remember when they won? Everyone's like, "This guy's the best coach in the league." And then over time, he was like, "This guy's an idiot." And now he's back to, "Oh my God, he might be the best coach in the league."
Whose voice was that?
That's the guy that doesn't believe in Rick Carlisle.
Let me talk more to him.
Oh, hey, how's it going, Dan?
Why don't you believe in him?
He's got all those years when you remember you got into it with Rajon Rondo. What was that about? And then they're like him and Luka, they didn't really get along and all that. But now it's like it's cool again.
Don't forget how the Mavs made it to the finals without him.
Yeah,
Who's that guy?
That's also that same
my
guy.
buddy.
Same guy, yeah.
That's my buddy.
Yeah.
We're at the bar together.
We're
at the bar together.
We're in a group chat together also.
Yeah.
You talk about other things too, not just Rick Carlisle.
Did you see that Korean warship?
Oh my God, what was that about?
What's going on?
Oh my God, aren't you guys worried?
Just fell.
I think it's a Wi-Fi, 5G.
Folks, listen up. The time has come to get some new golf clubs, and that means one thing. Heading over to my local PXG store for a fitting. They make the best golf clubs, period. Roy, I know you need new clubs, right? You're in that?
Yeah, I need new clubs, man. My clubs are way too short. I need to get longer clubs. I need
The grips.
new grips.
I'm telling you, Roy, you go over to PXG, within an hour, you will be out the door with their good staff. They're going to get you fitted. You're going to take multiple shots. They're going to get you set up with your woods, with your irons. They're going to get you the right grips, the perfect length clubs. I'm telling you, nothing fixes your golf game like getting fitted.
Oh, absolutely. I need to work on my short game, so these clubs are definitely.
I think you got to work on the whole game, not just the short.
Yeah, well, you know, I got a long drive, so.
PXG fitters are highly trained, incredibly experienced, and have a deep understanding of how to optimize your clubs to get the most out of your swing. PXG fittings are educational and fun. Schedule your fitting today. And for a limited time, you can save up to 20% on your entire order. Head over to pxg.com/Dan. That's pxg.com/Dan to save up to 20% on your entire order. pxg.com/DAN. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Dan wouldn't understand this. He's busy running a content circus. But if you're actually running a business, then you know. Hiring the right people isn't just important, it's everything. And that's why LinkedIn Jobs is an absolute game changer for small business owners. You're juggling payroll, logistics, maybe even mopping the floors before you open. You don't have time for flaky resumes, ghosted interviews, or job boards that feel like a black hole. When it's time to hire, you need a partner who grinds just like you. LinkedIn? They don't sleep. You clock out, they clock in. They'll help you write the job post quickly and clearly. Promote it, you'll get 3 times more qualified applicants. Not a guess, real data. And once it's live, LinkedIn helps you amplify it by sharing it with your network. You can even add that hashtag hiring frame to your profile, which doubles the number of qualified candidates you're likely to see. This is built for business owners who care about getting it right. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/DLS. That's linkedin.com/DLS to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Howdy, listeners, it's Mike. This is one of the best times of the year. You're caught up in the emotion of the playoffs. Big-time crucial games, going to games, hanging with your boys, hanging with your ladies, hanging with your family, and having a good old-fashioned time. Well, I can speak from experience. I've been doing all those things, but I've been doing so with a Miller Lite by my side because having good times is great. making those good times a Miller time makes it an unbelievable time, a time of your life. With Miller Lite, a brand and a beverage that has been around for 50 glorious years. That's hard to do. Remain popular and delivering on great flavor for 50 years, brewed with simple ingredients. None of the fluff, just real flavor. Malted barley gives it that rich, balanced coffee note taste and the iconic golden color that just hits right every time. Miller Lite. Great taste. 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Don Batard.
Woody, we have a photo right here. If you can see in this photo with my daughter there, I am pointing exactly to the point on the Stanley Cup where it says, "You suck ass."
Stugotz.
Wow. Right there.
They engraved
Really?
They got that engraved?
Yeah, they got it engraved right there. It says, "Chris Whittingham sucks ass."
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Jason Benetti is our favorite play-by-play announcer now in any sport. He's climbing up the rankings way too quickly.
More than Whitty.
Uncomfortably. Yeah, more than Whitty. He's more charming, more likable, less stubborn than Whitty. Whitty coming on here, having
Gross.
an all-time... Look, let me just rewind for a second. As if it weren't bad enough that he said that Giannis Antetokounmpo was the league's best number 2. We didn't even talk about the fact that made Chris Middleton the number 1.
Right.
Just like we left that part totally out, and then he doubles down on the take. Benetti knows how to be likable. This is one of his chief traits, and one of the reasons that he's so likable around here is the impressions. I mean, your impressions pale compared to this man's impressions.
I disagree.
Okay.
And I also think Rick Carlisle's a bum.
Cosign.
Try that impression, Benetti. I mean,
yes. Can you do? Hey, Benetti, can you do a Pacers fan who's always got something bad to say about Rick Carlisle as an impersonation? Bet you don't have that one in your holster, Benetti.
No, I can do it as a Chicago person who doesn't like Rick Carlisle, but the Indiana accent is lost on me.
Well, it was lost on me, too. I don't think that there was much...
I never said I was from Indiana. I just said I don't like Rick Carlisle.
Just a guy.
Until he wins again.
Just a guy.
I still don't like him either.
But if he wins again...
As well.
He might be the best coach ever, you know?
In addition to...
I'll take it Chicago style. I mean, I will, Benetti.
Yeah, but I don't think Benetti's got a whole lot of opinions on Rick Carlisle, but perhaps you're a sports lover. Perhaps, why don't you give us some not prisoner of the moment takes in the first hour and 20 minutes of today, because we are fueled by New York hate. Stugotz has said that Tyrese Halliburton is better than Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
We have identified last night's choke as the greatest choke in the history of all chokes. And I think we've also said that tops the Reggie Miller 8 points in 9 seconds choke, because I was arguing I still don't know if last night's choke is the biggest in the history between these two teams. So even though you're a baseball announcer, do you have any opinions on any of these things?
I think that Carlisle guy, he's got to play Halliburton more. Why doesn't he play Halliburton? That guy, he got all those defense contracts. What's he doing? I don't understand. You gotta, like, if you're in New York, I hate the Knicks, okay? I hate the Knicks because of Anthony Mason and all those guys, but you got to play Halliburton more.
Did you see that North Korean warship fall into the ocean?
You got to use the voice. Hold on. What are you doing?
Better.
The Korean warship. What's up with that?
It's embarrassing.
Did you fall out of character? You delivered news as yourself instead of...
I'm still workshopping it, all right?
Okay.
I don't know. I don't get this guy sometimes.
Yeah.
He acts like this in a group chat, too.
Stugotz, you were talking the other day about missing when an NBA coach looked like an NBA coach in the days of Cotton Fitzsimmons.
Yeah.
You'll be happy to know that Bruce Bochy is still a manager in the big leagues. You'll be. Do you want to guess who the manager of the Twins is? It's a name that will delight you.
Ooh, the Twins, the
Buck Showalter.
Twinkies.
It's still Gardenhire?
Ron Gardenhire?
It's always been
Is
Gardy.
it? Yeah.
Go ahead. You can help them here if you'd like. Look at how
not
disgusted
Gardy, huh?
Benetti is disgusted with them right there. There's very little baseball knowledge in this room, and it's offensive. But when you say the name, it will delight Stugotz, I assure you, Benetti.
It's the wound-socket rocket himself, Rocco Baldelli.
Wow.
What a time.
I had no idea.
The Twins are good. The Tigers are good. Benetti, your Tigers are good.
The Tigers are really good. They're really fun. And honestly, they just went to St. Louis and had all the business in the world to lose 2 of 3 or 3 of 3. They had a bullpen game yesterday. They got blown out in game 1 of the series, and they won the last 2 games of the series. They're like they really are like a TED Talk waiting to happen because they use the whole roster more than most teams in Major League Baseball. They use the bench basically every day. Like, get your red pen out. There was a game last week against the Red Sox that the 2 guys that were involved in the game-winning run didn't even start, and it was extra innings. It is honestly really, really fun to watch. And by the way, the Bruce Bochy comment, if you listen, I just had a Rangers game recently. Listen to Bruce Bochy and the actor Sam Elliott. They are 100% voice sound-alikes.
It is great. You're not kidding. Yeah, Bochy's got this low rumble that, what is it? It just gives off Southland, something deep in Texas. I don't know what it is, but it's a rumble from another time.
Yeah, no, he's I listened to that Wichita Lineman song, and there's a lot in there that makes sense to me, but I work with my hands more than that sort of thing.
How does he feel about Rick Carlisle?
Yeah, look, does he think Rick Carlisle's good or not?
They've been around as long.
It's a big thing for us.
Is that Scooby-Doo?
Man, I don't know. I'm still trying to find the voice.
Keep working on it. It's look, Amin tried to work the other day.
Tag me in.
Amin was trying to do comedy the other day for Andrew Santino, and now the 2 of you are trying to do impersonations.
I wasn't trying to do comedy for Andrew Santino. I was doing a paid read that I had to do for the show. Oh, they didn't know it was sponsored?
Whoa!
When it said Weekend Observations are brought to you by? You thought that was just part of the bit?
Paid? Why are you lashing out at the paid read for?
Because you called it comedy for Andrew Santino, and that's not what it was.
Look, what happened was you were doing...
I don't know what you're talking about there, Batard.
Odd arguments.
You and Rick Carlisle both don't know what you're talking about. What did Benetti talk about it?
Let's not forget he lost the NBA Cup.
He did. Okay.
Benetti, before you came on with us, we were talking. They were making fun of me and Jeremy correctly because we were just talking a lot about numbers. And I know baseball is inundated with the advanced metrics. I know you've had to evolve as a broadcaster and get better at doing all the measurements. But I can also feel like I say to you, it's kind of ruining the sport even as you get more information about the sport. Is it not? Or do you enjoy the numbers so much that it can't do it for you? I'm not just talking about this sport. I'm talking about just the hedge funding in general of numbers all over sports, so that it just kind of ruins fun.
And so I agree that, like, you play Monopoly enough times and everybody knows all the strategy. And I think that's where baseball actually, it's shocking to say that baseball has been on the front end of something, but they have been with the rule changes, because I think you see a lot more stolen bases now in baseball because of those rules. But I think what it is more than just like fun being gone because of the numbers, I think it's once you size up a game so well, you just kind of know how it plays. And at that point, you then like have your house rules of Monopoly, where if you land on free parking, you get the money, or like you have to go around once before you can buy properties. Like, you just have to change the rules. And I think like that's what's coming probably in all sports, because we have so much information now and teams are able to go ahead and try to, like, quote unquote, optimize, right? Like, then you have to change the rules. You have to do something that makes it different and then make them spend years re-optimizing. I think it's, rather than say, I want it back to what it used to be, I think we probably need to say these leagues have to push to make the rules different so we can see a different game and watch 30 teams scramble to get their numbers in order.
Mike, what are you and Tony making fun of me about?
Well, because you've been on a number kick lately, and I think yesterday you invoked, when talking about, 2 days ago when talking about baseball, hedge fund analytics, and we just
mathematics
all
kind
of took it like, what are you talking about?
Are you guys not aware that hedge funds and private equity are bleeding America dry?
Yeah, but I don't know what they have to do with analytics in baseball. Again, that was also out of left field.
That you get so
bleeding America.
Let's just keep it to sports.
I mean, like, come on, man.
Stick to sports, Batard.
What are you talking about?
Look,
man?
guys,
We're
Dan's
talking
just
about
looking for the best of the best. Oh,
Shut
sorry,
up,
best,
shut-
best. My bad.
Get
You guys had me right.
sticky.
It was on purpose.
That's
Get
a high
out of
stick.
here.
That's a high
Get
stick.
out
We've
of
established
here.
With blood.
That's how bad was that?
Doug Unfunnie.
Get out of here, Jeremy.
Blind dog.
That's your teammate.
Wait, we eject people?
Major penalty, 5 minutes, screwing comedy.
We give the penalties, yeah.
Doug Unfunny is great.
I love that we eject people from the television program.
I mean, that was so impossibly lame what he just did there.
I didn't like it either.
It's like he doesn't understand how to do self-deprecation. He thinks too highly of himself to do it well.
He's wearing a vest, Dan.
So is it insincere, you think? Or like he just doesn't know? It's like an instruction manual in a different language.
Yes,
Benetti hates Jeremy Taché, too. He's met him for like 3 minutes.
Spot on.
But the reason I brought up the question is something that you're delighting in, right? Which is the evolution of the game that makes it so that it's not Mike Mordecai on your bench anymore. It's the Tigers have 25 players. They're going to rest them. The 162 game schedule is insane. And they figured out how to exploit market inefficiencies. But you're saying that this is fun for you, and I'm saying it's probably less fun when a line drive over second base is caught by the second baseman because he's got a card in his pocket that tells him exactly where to play.
Yeah, the fun for me is being with a team. I love what's on the screen right now. Is that there was a game show on Nickelodeon called Finders Keepers, where the kids would have to go up to the screen with little like sticky notes, and they'd be like, "Find the frying pan," and they'd have to put the picture of the frying pan up on the thing, the cartoon thing. That looks like what we're playing right now.
He didn't answer Dan's question.
No, I'll answer the question. I actually, by the way, I'm having trouble hearing you. Honestly, truly, like my audio is a little low, so if I've missed something, that's why. But what I would say is there it is, Finders Keepers. Yes, let's go. How did you find that quickly? I guess because you kept it? I don't know. But the idea being you have like super guys on the bench who can do specific things. Like there's a right-handed bat on the Tigers bench who just mashes left-handed pitching. That's what he's there for. You pull the trigger on him in the sixth inning. And by the way, I don't know that people do this enough in Major League Baseball, but when you have a guy on the bench that you know can hit a certain reliever that you think might be able to is likely to come in the game, you can choose that guy to face that pitcher. So there actually is something to pinch hitting. Everybody's like, well, you're right out the lineup. In baseball, you never really know exactly what's going to happen. And whether you get that at bat or not, that's up to the baseball gods. Now, when you pinch hit, you're like, that's the guy. This is what's going to happen. I don't know why I turned into Robbie Hummel there for a second. That's his deal. That's what they do.
Keep cooking.
He goes over his right shoulder. I don't know what's going on here. But I do that sometimes, so I apologize.
What else do you have for us? Do you have any impersonations that you've been working on? Do you want us to take some guesses? Do you have anything that you've added to your repertoire? This is putting a lot of pressure on you, but you do seem to enjoy this playground more than most.
I love that it's a playground. It is officially a playground because of that cartoon mural you got going on there. I used to do a Jim Rome impression from back in the day. I don't know if I could do it anymore.
Please,
do we like Jim Rome impressions?
God, we would like
Jim Rome. He invented this thing.
I'm in the jungle. This is very exciting. When's the last time you broke out your Jim Rome?
A couple years ago on a White Sox team charter. The hook of it, I was driving around San Diego as a kid, and I don't know why I remember this, but he had Oakland Athletics pitcher Barry Zito as a guest, and he just kept talking about how Barry Zito was a musician. So the hook for me has always been a player and an instrument. So he'd be like, "This is the Premier Radio Network. Barry Zito's here with his guitar, Mike Lieberthal and his flute at 4:45. Terrible take. Actually, re-rack it. You can re-rack it."
Who did you grow up listening to? Like who did Jim Rome? Was his effect something that hypnotized a young Benetti?
We were on a vacation in San Diego, and there's this guy who's just talking about a bunch of major league players and their band, evidently. And it was sort of mesmerizing to me. So, it was always that hook. But like I grew up listening to Hawk Harrelson. We know Hawk Harrelson, right? I followed him as the White Sox play-by-play announcer. And one of my favorite Hawkisms, I used to like run around fourth grade doing Hawk Harrelson impressions, but I used to always like how dejected he got when he would be like, "Stay fair." It won't. That's wrong shit. It was like the elation. There's like this super elation, and then my goldfish died. Like, stay fair. It won't. Right size, wrong shape.
Do you have a favorite radio broadcast
in Major League Baseball?
Yes, like a team.
So I love Pat Hughes from the Cubs and his always partner named Ron. Right, he had Ron Santo forever, and then they, just to make it easy for Pat, I feel like they went and got Ron Coomer. But Pat, because like us play-by-play announcers, we don't know everybody's
Are you
name.
saying
We
more
work with a lot of
qualified people did not get the job because their name wasn't Ron?
There's a decent chance of that, if we're being honest. Like, people came walking in the room, and Pat was like, "Well, my first question." Is your name Ronnie? And they're like, "No, I'm Frank." And he's like, "Well, I'll be calling you Ron. The Cubs are wearing the white trousers."
Jason, can you do an impression of the Chicago Pope for us, please?
Ooh. I seriously could not hear that. My audio has been low. Can you just yell that like an Indiana fan for me, please?
Can you do an impression of the Chicago Pope, please?
I was doing the pontiff things, and I was listening to the White Sox a couple years ago, and I was like, this guy, he laughs a little too much, honestly. The new Pope, by the way, lived at one point like 4 blocks away from where I grew up. So the text thread of my high school friends devolved from like, "He ate pizza at Aurelio's," to "Isn't it funny that the new Pope has an opinion about your work?"
That is a good point, man.
Right.
That's crazy. Like the leader of the Catholic faith, man, over 1 billion people across the world listen to a man who's like, "Yeah, I don't know what this Benetti guy is doing calling this game, man."
Wait a minute. So do you think the Pope was a Jim Rome fan?
Ooh, of course.
White smoke. 4:45. Possible black smoke later on. Jim Lampley is here Friday. Welcome to the jungle. This is the premier radio network.
Lampley.
One of the go-tos.
Yes.
Have you heard Frank Caliendo's Jim Rome? We will see if we can get some of that for Benetti, because I think that Caliendo's got the best Jim Rome that I've ever heard. I don't think that
Caliendo has the best everything. I don't ever want to do any impression that Frank Caliendo does, because it's like doing hockey the day after Doc Emmerich. Like you can't, like, that's why I pick all the esoteric ones. Like, I don't know that Caliendo does the Sports Center guy, but when you're, if he does, then I'm going to have to retire the Sports Center, brought to you by Applebee's.
Hold on. Let me rebut. Sports Center, brought to you by Coors Light.
Can't follow Benetti.
That's Harvey Firestein.
Yeah.
And also a less superior beer.
Yes.
Yeah, why'd you do that?
Same company.
You can keep that one,
It's the
Benetti.
same company.
I know, we're safe.
Are you guys really making fun of me, or is that simply invest?
When you see a girl you like, do you hear?
Yeah, in fact, I do. My wife.
Jason, through the season, the best moment you've seen so far?
The best moment is Javi Baez last Tuesday walk-off home run. Like, that dude was down for the count in so many ways, and then ended up becoming a hero again. He's hit the ball really well. That's specific to the Tigers. The best moment of the season might actually have been the other day in that Mets-Red Sox game, though, when Walker Buehler and Mike Estabrook, pitcher and umpires, started to do one of those like saloon doors swaying in the breeze Wild West standoffs, walking toward each other from the mound and the plate.
Baseball announcers like to flower up some westerns there when it was just
really did.
like it's not quite all of that, Benetti.
Me and Mike are arguing back here because we were in Mexico with Cuervo doing our thing over there, and there was a bathroom in the hotel that had saloon doors, and me and Mike came away with two different opinions on saloon doors.
They're useless. They're terrible. Who installs saloon doors? What do you don't get privacy. They don't swing the way that they do in the movies. They always ricochet right back.
He wasn't doing it right.
Clip
That's
your
right.
arm.
Right.
You know, it's not even, you don't get the cool effect or anything like that. It's not the way that it works in real life. It just sucks.
You
Bad
gotta
take.
step through, and then they swing behind
No,
you.
you gotta
and then
hold it open.
And then
What
you
if someone's
survey.
walking behind you? What if someone's walking behind
No,
you?
you gotta beeline it.
You don't
Derrick
worry
Henry.
about it. You
Terrible.
step through with a
Terrible.
flurry. That's what you do.
Most
Yes.
practical door.
It's great. Dan, I
Worse than a
bulldozed
curtain.
it.
I love it.
Poof, ripped
Worse
it open.
than a
Might have
curtain.
hit somebody on the way.
Hate saloon doors.
Also, they're not there for privacy. They're there to look cool, dude.
Yes.
Do you want to look cool? Or do you want to be private?
I guess they do sort of look cool, and then you have to actually use one.
Walk through, and then you walk and you survey the whole.
You don't
room.
just walk through.
What's
They
going
never
on?
work that way. They never work that way.
Walk with purpose.
Sounds like the Wild Wild West in here.
God damn him.
It feels a little bit like saloon doors are the biggest villain on this show for weeks.
No,
What-
it's Jeremy Taché.
Yeah, no doubt.
Put it on the
Get him
poll,
outta here.
please, at Lebatard Show. He can't leave fast enough. I don't even have enough buttons for what it is that he's doing.
Just click
I don't-
one of them, Dan, for God's sake.
See ya.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes. High sticking.
Works for you. Mind the gap.
Jason,
We need to have an ejection animation. We need to have somebody just
He's right.
that.
Yeah.
yeah, just how about just a vaudevillian cane of some sort, something because we can't get anything modern around here. So why don't we go 1950s? He should be yanked out of here with a giant cane. By the vest, you just put it in, you insert it in the vest, and yank him right out of here. Jason, nice seeing you. Always nice seeing you. Thank you for making the time, sir.
Thank you, guys. I hope this marital dispute works itself out.
Howdy, listeners. It's Mike. This is one of the best times of the year. You're caught up in the emotion of the playoffs. Big-time crucial games, going to games, hanging with your boys, hanging with your ladies, hanging with your family, and having a good old-fashioned time. Well, I can speak from experience. I've been doing all those things, but I've been doing so with a Miller Lite by my side because having good times is great. Making those good times a Miller time makes it an unbelievable time, a time of your life. With Miller Lite, a brand and a beverage that has been around for 50 glorious years. That's hard to do. Remain popular and delivering on great flavor for 50 years, brewed with simple ingredients. None of the fluff, just real flavor. Malted barley gives it that rich, balanced coffee note taste and the iconic golden color that just hits right every time. Miller Lite. Great taste. 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.